so you can let me know when it's time. Right. There, so you can let me know when it's time. Right. Good afternoon and welcome to UnitedTV. My name is Kemal Erkan. Today we have another special guest at UnitedTV. Mark Brainard is going to be with us. He is forefront of shaping Delaware's educational landscape. Well, Mark, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for having me this afternoon. I look forward to talking about Delaware Tech and Delaware's workforce.
Thank you. And under your leadership, DelTech has become a national model for workforce development, helping students transition directly into careers from the actual education, transforming lives and supporting our local economy. And these are really important. And DelTech, I believe, is very important for our state. And we would like to dive into the discussion. And I have a couple questions, and anything that you would like to add later on would be fine.
Thank you.
Now, one of the things with DelTech right now, I believe about 13,000 admissions.
Yeah, enrollment has actually gone up. So
Right.
we're back to the pre-pandemic number of over 15,000 now. So it's
That's
returning.
really good.
Thank
And
you.
the affordable tuition and it's very special from the it has its own niche, and this is what I would like to know is how has your vision for the college evolved over your tenure, and especially in light of these new economic challenges that we have and social actually challenges as well. So those are more recent, but it's part of our reality. So how has that changed so far?
Well, a lot has changed, but then in some cases, things have remained the same. The community college mission is to provide a high quality workforce for local business and industry. So when the college was founded a little over 50 years ago, that focus was on jobs, connecting people with jobs in the local economy. Back then, we had programs like nursing, auto technician, and things like key punch operator. But today we still have the nursing program, we still have the auto technician program, but the key punch operator program went away because the technology no longer supports jobs like that. We now have cybersecurity, IT networking, and the like. So we have remained laser focused on our mission, and that is providing a workforce. But as you know, when the market changes, then we have to change, and we adapt to that market. And all of our programs are connected to some job opportunities that are in Delaware.
So you work with a lot of employers in healthcare, advanced manufacturing, and IT. Now, from United Medical ACO standpoint, it's going to be coming up in one of my next questions, but I believe there are a lot of potentials with your institution. We are a healthcare provider, and about 180 physician and non-physician providers, and close to 850 employees, including nurses. We provide services at the primary care level as well as 22 different specialties. So now, and I know we do hire a lot of people with the educational background from DelTech, and now the knowing the where Delaware is, and then being right in between these big cities that we have. How is DelTech preparing students for regional workforce needs? And if you can actually highlight some of the partnerships that you have, that would be great.
Sure. So in order to meet these workforce demands, we have close to 90 associate degree programs.
Hmm.
We have 2 bachelor degree programs, and I can get into a little bit more detail about how those programs were created. And we have over 100 short-term training certification programs. So on the associate degree side, we have the nursing program and other allied health programs that you might be
Hmm.
familiar with, such as RadTech, respiratory therapy, dental hygiene, and the like. But on the certification side of our operation, we order uh, short-term training programs, so like CNA, patient care technician program, sleep technician, phlebotomy. Those are the types of certification programs that can connect someone with a job within weeks or months. So the way we keep our programs relevant is we develop advisory committees for each of those programs. So the nursing program is the easiest one to think about. It's one of our largest, and it clearly supports the workforce in the state in all 3 counties. So we have advisory committees that are comprised of employers who hire our graduates. And they communicate and sit down and work with our faculty and department chairs, and they tell us what the skills and competencies that are necessary for our graduates to have to be job ready on day one. So that's how we partner, and we partner with everyone from Christiana Care Health Systems and Bay
Hmm.
Health and the Moores to small employers as well, not just in the healthcare sector, but as I said, for every program that we have. So we try to stay relevant, and we try to stay uh, applicable to the employers who need our graduates. And the way we do that is to communicate and to listen. Um, and let me just make reference to the bachelor degree programs, because I think this is the best way to describe how we do our work on this side of the equation. A number of years ago, Christiana Care and the other primary care providers came to us and said, we know you graduate 400 associate degree nurses every year, and
Hmm.
we continue to need those nurses. But the preferred credential in nursing is quickly becoming a bachelor's degree. And we want Delaware Tech to create a bachelor degree program. And we went through the process, went through the market study, and our board approved the creation of a new bachelor degree program in Bachelor of Science in Nursing Education. So that's how we respond to the market. That's how we work with employers. To be quite honest with you, in 2019, we were meeting with the 19 school district superintendents. And when we updated them on the BSE program in nursing, I'm sorry, the BSN program in nursing, they overwhelmingly said, we want a bachelor degree program in education because we're experiencing a teacher shortage. And that was before the pandemic. So, um, it's not like we're out looking for programs to create, but I will tell you, if an employer or a group of employers comes to us and tells us of a critical workforce shortage, that's when we respond and try to develop something that is appropriate to that shortage.
As I'm listening to you, and then, although we have some questions I have for you, but they're kind of overlapping in a way. So I'm not going to stick to those just so that we can have a good, nice dialogue. Now, one
Mhm.
of the things that I would like to mention with how close you are able to work with different employers, and us, United Medical being one of the biggest outpatient uh, private practice in Delaware. So it's almost 25 years that I've been in medical field, and I think it's extremely interesting to me in so many different ways that uh, in the in the office, in medical offices, so you have one of the best educated individual, the physician, who usually used to at least work with people who didn't have any medical education. So in the early 2000s, late 2000s, this was always a huge problem. And as I was pointing this out, and the financial difficulties and challenges of these offices, it's the reality. So even if they wanted to have a nurse in the office, it was not uh, possible. So then they would hire an MA with some certification and this and that. So we try to change that culture in the last 10 years from our side. And that's why also uh, I value your institution, because those positions where it's affordable for employers, but it's
Mhm.
also affordable for the individuals to go and get what they need, and then we can get a better support. Even if we need to pay more, at the end of the day, it is actually becoming a better win-win situation for employers and employees. So it's definitely, I see a huge, uh, in a very positive way, impact from DelTech and organizations like DelTech. So now, are there different maybe pathways, clinical pathways that we can build with DelTech between United Medical ACO?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we should probably start to talk about is how some of our students currently connect their education with their careers and go through a pathway either on their own or with help from the college or their employer. Let's talk about affordability first, okay? Delaware Tech's tuition per year is around $6,500 a year. So, when you think about access to higher education, we've always been affordable, and that is the mission of the community college, to make sure that we have access provided to uh, our future students and current students. So that's number one. The other thing I think that folks need to remember is that Delaware has always been a leader in the free college movement.
Mhm.
Uh, Back in 2008, 2009, when then President Obama was talking about free community college throughout the country, Delaware had already had the Seed Scholarship Program implemented in 2005. And, we were leading the nation in providing free college tuition programs for Delaware residents. If a student graduated from a Delaware high school, had a GPA of 2.5 or above, and did not have a criminal record, they could go to the University of Delaware or Delaware Tech for free and have the college tuition paid for by the state. That was the Seed Scholarship Program, and it's benefited thousands of Delawareans since that time. A significant improvement to that occurred just a couple of years ago when State Senator Poore added the free tuition component to workforce training programs. So all of those certification programs now, CNA, patient care technician, all of those other certification programs in the healthcare sector and beyond, HVAC certifications and welding and things like that. All of those programs now fall under the Seed Plus umbrella. So
Mhm.
a currently employed Delaware citizen can come to Delaware Tech and get an additional certification or additional credential for their job to make them more employable and make them more competitive. So the access, I think, is a very important thing to remember about our state, because once again, we are leading the country. Many states don't have opportunities like that for workforce training credentials. So that's that. When I think of healthcare, for example, we have high school students who are coming to Delaware Tech campuses, and during their high school careers, they're getting certifications in patient care technician and CNA. When they graduate from high school, they're going to work, and eventually, if they're interested in pursuing a nursing career, they can come back to Delaware
Mhm.
Tech and connect those certifications, those credentials in the next step, if you will, of their career. And they can come and pursue a nursing degree while they're here. And after getting the ADN, they can pursue their BSN. So there is truly a career pathway in Delaware that a person can pursue from a certification through to a bachelor's degree. And as you know, many employers in healthcare provide tuition reimbursement and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, and I know you know this, but I'll just say it for the purpose of your viewers. In addition to nursing, we have 14 other allied health programs that serve different niches in the allied health sector, such as respiratory care, dental hygiene, surgical technician, paramedic, those types of programs that require an associate's degree. We also offer those programs. And as you know, very similar to nursing, all of those graduates have to pass a national licensure exam before they can get a
Sure.
job.
Yeah.
And our college-wide passage rate in those programs are 92, 93% on first-time takers. So our faculty do a phenomenal job preparing these graduates for very demanding careers in healthcare, as you know.
And organizations, institutions like yours, where when we have crises, you mentioned some of those, and COVID was one of them that we all went through. How quickly we are able to get our act together and then put some plan of action out there. I think during the COVID-19 pandemic, DelTech also really did a good job, not only just managing what was out there, but also being proactively taking different steps to impact the community that we live in, which is really important. And I know we may be a little bit biased because we benefit from the education that your institution provides, and knowing the difficulties in these small, mid-sized offices, and being able to get more educated, better educated people. That's only happening with these partnerships. And I'm hoping that maybe after this call, sometime next week or the following week, we can get together and discuss a little bit more about the potential partnership. Now, you went through a renovation in the new Allied Health Center, I believe, right? So about $22 million you guys spent. It's 75,000 square feet. I was there once with one of the, I think Jack Markell used to do some meetings there, right, at DelTech?
Yes, he did. The governor, our governors are very supportive of the college. So typically when they convene large meetings, we have conference centers, and
Right.
typically they will utilize the Delaware Tech conference centers for that. So Governor Markell was on campus quite frequently.
And one of our offices actually right across the street from your Newark office, the one with the big doctor's bag, the Apex.
Yes.
So that's our bariatric program, our
Okay.
bariatric practices there. But I haven't been in your campus for a while, so I think we need to fix that. So
Yeah,
now,
we would love to have you on campus at the Stanton campus. We have a nursing wing there that obviously is state of the art and acts and serves as a pipeline for the nursing sector in Delaware. And in Wilmington, the Allied Health Center of Excellence that you referenced is brand new. We just opened that in January. It has a new surgical technician lab. It has a new paramedic lab. It has all of the existing programs that we've always offered there at that campus, but it also has a simulation lab. And the rationale behind developing that space was to ensure that the current workforce, if they ever need training, 5, 6, 8, 10 years into their career, they can come to the Wilmington campus to our Allied Health Center of Excellence, use the conference facilities to learn theory, and then 20 feet away is a simulation lab, a high-tech, state-of-the-art simulation lab, and they can learn the principles of theory on the high-fidelity mannequins that are there. So I would very much enjoy hosting you and anyone else on your team to see not only the Stanton campus, but also the Wilmington campus as well.
absolutely. In fact, our Chief Operating Officer, Susan Anderson, and our HR manager, Terry, they should probably join me as well.
Yes.
So we do a lot of hiring, and the challenges are there, and these partnerships, I believe, would help tremendously, and I'll make sure that we follow up with that. Now,
Great.
you kind of got into the technology side. You are a young person.
I don't know about
Now,
that.
I mean, you are. So I when I do my job, how we used to do it, 20 years ago versus 10 years ago. Now it's every 6 months there are some major changes with the technology. As you know, the AI is taking over, and I'm all for it. So one of the things that I early on adopted in my life, I will never say no to the new technology, and in fact, that's how we kind of keep ourselves younger and up to date with what's happening with the new generation. So I try to learn right away. Now, of course, we all have our limits, so I couldn't get into the Snapchat, but the rest of it, I'm pretty up to date. Even like doing this, YouTube channel was the only way that we know that we needed to do this to reach out to our patients during the COVID-19, and then we kept it now almost 140,000 subscribers, and it's also building bridges. Just like maybe we weren't going to meet uh, with you if we didn't have this channel in place. So it's
Right.
opening different doors for us, and we have a lot of good dialogues. But my question on the technology side, how DelTech is preparing the students with those changes on the technological side, especially what the jobs are demanding,
Right.
how the jobs are demanding more high tech training and education. How are you guys doing that, handling that?
So, not to repeat myself, but it really just
Hmm.
re-emphasized the point that I
Right.
made about our advisory committees. All of our programs are very closely connected with the employers in our market. So when we hear from employers that a new technology is being used, for example, in rad tech, it's incumbent upon us to find the technology for our labs and for our instructors to be able to use that technology and teach it to our students. So when they graduate, they're able to use that technology in real time in the jobs that they're able to secure out in the workplace. So the conversations that we have with employers are in real time, they're extensive, and they're ongoing and continual. We don't stop and meet with each other every 5 years or 4 years or
Hmm.
every year. This feedback that we use to keep our programs up to date must occur in real time so that we can keep up with those technology changes. And our faculty tend to have the mindset of embracing technology. So instead of seeing AI as a threat in the classroom,
Hmm.
many are adopting strategies to teach students the best applications or uses for it, because we know that when they go out into that career field, it's existing there, and they need to have a pretty solid foundation about its application in their career field. So, to your point, it's something that we have to embrace because it keeps our programs relevant, current, and it better prepares our graduates for the jobs that they're going to secure when they graduate from Delaware Tech.
Now, when I was prepping for this event, I saw something, and I'm like, why would he retire when he's so young? But it was in the news. So, is that going to happen?
Well, I think there was just a misinterpretation by one of the media outlets. Uh, I have a series of contracts that my board has blessed me with over the course of my tenure here. And a couple of years ago, I signed a 5-year contract which expires in December of 2027.
Hmm.
So, contrary to your eyesight, by that time I'm going to probably going to be ready for a transition out of the role and out of the career. So I provided a courtesy heads up to the board that once this contract expires, it's going to be time for a transition. So to their credit, our board is looking and developing plans for the future. Thankfully, they're not pushing me out the door tomorrow, but we have time to plan. This is a highly functioning organization, and it's all about leadership, and the leadership starts with the Board of Trustees. They're very nimble, they're very experienced, they're very passionate about the mission of Delaware Tech, and they literally don't want us to lose any momentum at any point during our history or evolution. So that's what that's all about. I think somebody picked up the fact that there's going to be a expiration of my current contract. I didn't announce any retirement.
I see.
For,
And again, I mean, you shouldn't like look at our presidents. The last two were over 78 years old. So the one who's there now is 80 years old. The one who just
I never once complained about our prior president.
no, you're fine. You have another 20 years minimum. So, you know, I mean, joking aside, this is important for people to understand. Like, you know, I have a lot of experience in business, in leadership, and I do go through a lot of different places to better understand other cultures, organizations, and the experience is like your level, my level. These are not just open for anyone, or shouldn't be just available for anyone who doesn't have the proper experience. So now you've been in this position for so many years, and I think organization probably is benefiting from you more than it did before, because you have all the um, understanding of your own organization and knowing what it can and cannot do. Almost the learning is done there. So then you are building more and more every year. And of course, there's a point where probably it will slow down, but I see you serving another 10 years minimum. So.
Well,
I do have really good predictions, so you can ask Sarah McBride. So she always says that I'm the king of predictions. So I'm sure we'll have another YouTube session in 10 years from now.
You're very gracious, and I appreciate your positive feedback. I just will offer that experience is important, and there's no doubt about that. Stability and continuity and things like that are very important. I also think that it's incumbent upon leaders to recognize when change is necessary, and when new perspectives are necessary, and when a new generation of thought leaders come into the organization and are able to more directly put their fingerprints on things. Believe me, it takes some self-awareness for anyone to understand those kind of decisions. But as I said, I'm not worried about that conversation for another couple of years. But I thank you for your positive feedback, and whether someone is in a job like this for 1 year or 10, they have to surround themselves with the best people that they know. So I
True.
will tell you, no matter how much success we've had in the last 11 years, if it wasn't for the team that I have around me, nothing would have occurred. And really, try to surround myself with the smartest people I know, who know 10 times more about this business than I do. And I listen a lot to them, a
No,
lot.
that's no, I see that, and you know, we try to do best with what we can, but we know that it's not just by one person, so it's a teamwork, and that's how it is with us as well in United Medical, and that's why it works actually. So at the end of the day, and I totally agree with you on that. Now, student excellence equals degree, right? SEED program.
That was seed.
Now, this is more about like the first generation college college people who are on the low income side. Usually, I guess finish rate is low in some of these cases, and then that's why you have the seed program in place. That's at least what my understanding is. What specific steps has DelTech taken, and just to remove these barriers between students and their degrees once they started?
Actually, the seed program was the free college program I referenced earlier. The seed program was created by the General Assembly and signed into law in 2005.
Hmm.
And I can tell you what the history was around that program because I was there when Senator McDowell was working on this program. Senator Harris McDowell from Wilmington is the father of that entire idea and really brought that concept to reality. And what the senator used to say is that national studies had shown that nearly half of uh, the young people in this country had never had a meaningful adult talk to him or her about
Hmm.
going to college. And Senator McDowell's theory was that if a family didn't think that they could afford college, they wouldn't talk to their child about going. So his theory was if the state would set up a program, a free college program, it didn't matter what the financial situation was for the family. The state of Delaware could tell students, whether they were in fifth grade or 10th grade, work
Hmm.
hard, stay out of trouble, get good grades, and you can go to college. It's not a promise, it's the law. So that's what the Seed Scholarship did, and it really wasn't income based because one of the requirements of Seed is that anyone interested in securing a Seed Scholarship had to apply for all other necessary financial aid programs first. So what happens is a student will come to us, be interested in getting a Seed Scholarship, and once they fill out the federal Pell forms, they find that they're fully qualified for financial aid. So
Hmm.
it really was not just a scholarship program, but it was really a motivational tool for young people who never had the idea of going to college. They could have that promise or that law at the end to say, you know, you can go to college and you can go for free. The state of Delaware requires it if you
Hmm.
meet the qualifications. So that being said, uh, thousands of Delawareans have benefited from this program since 2005. And it's a win-win-win. The student benefits, our state employers benefit, everyone benefits. The state of Delaware benefits with our graduates going out and working in the healthcare or advanced manufacturing or criminal justice field. They're gainfully employed, they're paying taxes. That was the theory that the senator brought to the conversation and the debates when this bill was passed and enacted into law.
So the you kind of got into it where I want to tag along there to kind of just highlight a couple of things. Now, you said you have about 15,000 enrollees. That's a very big number.
Full-time,
Delaware.
yes, full-time students in all three counties. We also have, that number did not count those coming here for certifications and
Sure.
short-term training programs and things like that. That's the academic enrollment.
That's a huge number, like just by itself. And I had Delaware State University's president was here, I believe, 3 4 months ago, and I think I asked him the same question. Um, and you work with in the government, and now you've been in the education for a long time, and I think the community colleges and their impact in the state economy and workforce policy. Um, how do you see that role today? Is it like really getting enough recognition? Like me personally, I'm just going to tell you this, so not to your face, but I don't think DelTech or the state, Delaware State University are getting enough recognition for what they have done and what they're doing, including your institution. And what's your perspective of that?
A couple of weeks ago, we celebrated graduations on each of our campuses, and 97% of our graduates are Delaware residents. So to be quite honest with you, I don't follow headlines. I don't follow articles and awards and recognitions and all that stuff. I mean, they're great when you get them, but really what drives what we do is making whatever efforts we need to make in order to get those students across the stage at graduation, whether it's providing them with tutoring access or access to computer labs or having a food closet on each of our campuses because some of our students have food insecurity. No matter what services we need to provide, we want to make sure that we do that for those students so they can graduate, enter the economy, get a job, and provide for themselves and their family. And like I said, those reminders come home for us every year at graduation because we know that 97% of those graduates are from our home state. They live in our communities, they work in local businesses, they're our friends, neighbors, family members sometimes. I mean, we're investing in the state of Delaware. So um, as long as we remain mission driven and
Mhm.
laser focused on what we need to do, uh, we're satisfied with that. We get tremendous support from our governors and our members of the General Assembly make significant investments in Delaware Tech, and we very much appreciate that because that's how we are able to fulfill our mission. So um, you brought up the difference between Delaware State University and Delaware Tech and the University of Delaware. I look at the three of us having different missions, different responsibilities.
Mhm.
We have very much a workforce driven mission. That's what we do. We don't do research here, for example. We don't seek research grants and money like that.
Mhm.
We'll do partnerships. We have a bioscience partnership with the University of Delaware, and we have different partnerships with Delaware State. But we all have unique relationships and we all have unique missions. And I think if we all stay laser focused on those missions, that's when everybody wins.
So, Mark, one of my maybe my last question for today. Uh, it's been again almost 27 years I've been in this state, and I never left Delaware. So I am a true Delawarean because if I was born here, I wouldn't have a choice. But now I choose to be a Delawarean, so because I never left. So now 24 years I spent in Turkey. I was born and raised there, and seeing different challenges in a country like Turkey, and our expectations from United States. And for a while, things were doing good. Like it was going well here. So there were. I have this. Almost say this. Not every program, but I try to kind of make this highlight. Um, in my domain, I would say that these things would not happen in United States. So, and it would happen in Turkey or Philippines or, India or I don't know, like one of those countries, but not happen in United States. And that
When you
changed.
say these things, what are you referencing? When you say
I'm
these,
gonna get to it. So,
okay.
um, these things would be like what has happened in 2020, and now what's happening with president is in a fight with one of the lead universities with the fundings, and um, the political landscape is different. I mean, I have different views on what's happening today, but I try to keep the optimistic way. But the federal sanctions on colleges, universities, and the freedom of the academic freedom that we all should have in the institutions like yours and others. Um, are you seeing this? Are you concerned about what's happening today between federal government and the universities and funding and all that?
Um, it's concerning in that it is terribly disruptive to our students.
Right.
Uh, when I think a lot of folks adopt a strategy that I will pay attention to the things that I must pay attention to in order to get the job done. And then I'm going to filter out all the noise and all the chatter and all the, blustering and all the, crazy statements. Just filter that out. It doesn't really impact the work we do. The problem is when some of the chatter and some of the over the top conversations about slashing federal funding or slashing federal grants, whatever the conversation's about, you and I might look at it and say, well, that's ridiculous. They have to go through 6 months of court litigation before that happens.
Right.
But a student who is relying on something in order to fulfill their educational dreams, or they're relying on a grant or federal financial aid in order to achieve their dreams, it's terribly disruptive to them because it creates all of this uncertainty.
Hmm.
They for a lot of our students, community colleges are open door institutions, which
Right.
means that many individuals who come through our front doors, they might be a traditional age college student who's coming out of
Hmm.
a high school, or most often than not, they're a non-traditional student. Their average age is 26, 27,
Hmm.
28. They might be working, they might be unemployed, they might be underemployed, they might be a mom with a young child or a couple of children who's trying to get that degree so that she can provide a better life for the family that she's trying to support at home. Over 60% of our students are female. They're taking a non-traditional path, in many cases, to the land of educational opportunity. And it's distressing anytime you hear all this noise coming out that is disruptive to them. It creates stress for them. They've got enough to manage and balance and really work through in order to accomplish their goals. Community college students have a lot of grit, have a lot of persistence and determination because they're busy people. They have a lot of different demands. To add one more layer of uncertainty on them is just horrible. It's horrible. And my hope is that, within the next few months, or hopefully within the next year,
Hmm.
uh, the people understand that, continuity and stability is what we've been blessed with during our lives. Why aren't we providing that for others?
Right.
Others.
Right.
That's, um, just I'll stop there because I'm coming up to a line here. Yeah, I'm finished.
I know, like it's upsetting, but I'm hoping that things are gonna settle. And just seeing certain things, especially in the colleges, we have great respect for uh, what's done in universities, colleges, and like kind of trying to keep it out of politics probably is one of the best way. And sanctions never work. Never, it's not going to work, and it's just going to make things work worse. And I am just going to keep my optimistic view, and hopefully things are going to get better. Now, I do want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
For us to be able to hear your vision and your impact on more educated and empowered Delaware is important, and I do uh, recognize how difficult it is to do what you are doing with all the challenges that you guys are going through, and um, and I thank you for your time again. And for those who are students, parents, employers, or community leaders, they should also remember that uh, the future is built in the classrooms in DelTech and the colleges like DelTech. So, and that's one of the what makes United States unique from the education system. And I think DelTech is one of the model institutions for that.
Thank you.
And we'll try to have more collaboration and better collaboration with your
Yes.
organization. And I'll be following up with you on that. And again, thank you for joining us. And for those
Thank you very much.
who are watching us, we'll be back with our Bariatric Friday event. But today we are going to have general surgery discussion with Dr. Peters. He's going to join me at 3 p.m. So until then, please stay united. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for your time.
There, so you can let me know when it's time.